Aerodrome Finance, is the worst over or is there more pain to come? My name is Mikemadz. Let's start this video. Before we start the video, AERO community, make some noise as you always do. Comment, subscribe and like. The more people engage, the more people are going to see this video. So let me know, are you buying Aerodrome? Are you selling? Or are you just simply holding? And of course, check out my links in the description. Let's start. Alright, let's stop wasting time. Let's jump straight into it, especially guys, as the entire market unfortunately is right now in capitulation here. The markets are red and many people are losing a lot of money. So the main question you need to ask yourself right now, is it over? And especially, is it over for Aerodrome? And we will cover that of course in this video. Just a small disclaimer here, if you are down heavily currently and you feel bad about your investment, you feel stupid in this phase, I just want to remind you guys, I am in the same boat here. Comparing myself to my all-time highs, I'm down heavily here. I'm down real estate money. Of course, not compared to my bear market entries. From those, I'm still up. So in total, I'm still in profit. But of course, as normal human behavior, you always compare yourself at your highs. So from my highs, I'm also down heavily. But luckily this time, I also de-risked early enough. So I have a cash position in order to reap the benefits here, if we even dip lower, to start DCing into solid project, just like Aerodrome. Now taking a look at the first question, is it over for Aerodrome? Taking a look at the metrics, super important. Big reminder here guys, not just Aerodrome, not just base is bleeding, the entire market is bleeding. So across all ecosystems, we are in the red. So it's not an Aerodrome specific thing, so don't worry about that. Of course, everything is super bleeding heavily and Bitcoin dominance is slowly but surely creeping up to 60%. One important thing to note here, most people got used to up only green weeks, gains week by week. Guys, corrections are part of the game, and especially in the crypto space, largest corrections are unfortunately just simply a part of the game. If you personally cannot stomach those type of corrections, then you have to ask yourself the honest question here, are you capable of being in this crypto space or not? If not, there's certainly other tools for you to make money, whether it be stocks, real estate or gold here. If you cannot stomach those type of corrections, then the crypto space is not for you. And I don't mean it in any offensive way. This is just simply reality. So corrections are part of the game, but this is exactly why it's important to gauge or to understand where we are in this market cycle in order not to freak out here and in order to start buying dips when it is necessary and of course when you have the funds. Now zooming in here into the base ecosystem, as you can clearly see here, Aerodrome is still at place number one, so nothing changed here. Aerodrome is still the number one representation of the base ecosystem. Full stop here with almost $600 million in TVL. Of course, we are down here, no question about that. Of course, the prices are in the bad spot and I understand that you are hurting here, especially if you format into the top. But you need to understand here, macro-wise, nothing has changed. The tech is still the same and Aerodrome is still pushing out solid volume here and Slipstream is seeing all-time highs here week by week. So nothing changed here. As you can see here, only a couple protocols are in the green here by monthly, Uniswap being one, Aave, and super impressive here actually, Seamless protocol being up here with an increase in TVL. And as I said guys, make use of your Aerodrome, especially in this phases here. Lending out your Aerodrome is a big plus. And this way you beat inflation and you're not worried with dips as you're simply accumulating more Aerodrome without adding any additional funds. And just a quick add-on here, just to highlight the volume here on Aerodrome. As you can clearly see here, Slipstream hit a record of $300 million in volume, making a record high again for the second day in a row. As you can see here, tech-wise, nothing has changed, guys. Okay, Aerodrome is still working as intended. The only thing that changed is the sentiment is currently absolutely terrible and the prices are much lower. So I have to ask the question, is it wise to start DCing here at those prices? So let's take a look at the price action right now. Take a look at the price action. The number one spot you always should look to before buying your altcoins is at Bitcoin. Why is that? Because Bitcoin simply leads the way, guys. Pretty simple. If Bitcoin is in a downtrend, it's bleeding, altcoins are gonna bleed heavier here. This is why it's super important to take a look at where we are with Bitcoin and then we can gauge here if Aerodrome is close or is at the bottom or not. Now take a look at Bitcoin here. The number one metric to take a look at, in my personal opinion, in a bull market is simply the bull market support band. What is the bull market support band? It is a combination of two moving averages here. And as you can see here, retesting this bull market support band is an absolutely normal thing in bull markets. As you can see, a couple months ago, we had a beautiful retest here, and then from there, we had a massive bounce to the upside. So taking a look at that, it would only make sense here if Bitcoin bounces here from this $60,000 level. Now, is there a worst case scenario? Yes, this support doesn't always have to hold, unfortunately. We can of course have phases below this bull market support band, which would simply mean there is more pain ahead. And especially in the summer months, it would not surprise me here. But for now, short-term view, let's hope for a bounce here for Bitcoin at the bull market support band at around the level of $60,000. So for Aerodrome, would I personally start buying right now? I don't think so. I still would wait it out. It is better to buy in a confirmed uptrend here than to buy a falling knife, which doesn't mean I'm selling right now. Selling Aerodrome right now, in my personal opinion, is too late, because you run into the problem. If we bounce from here, you're gonna simply fall back in, and this can turn into a vicious cycle. Now, zooming in into Aerodrome, clearly we are in downtrend, no question about that. The nice thing about this here, that we had a 20% reaction here from those lows, which is of course good to see, but currently of course we're bleeding down, and I would personally look out for a retest here of this trend line. But overall, personally, long story short, I would simply wait out this phase. If you have a much higher average here on Aerodrome, then in my personal opinion, it would make sense to start DCing into those low prices here. Not financial advice. What is DCing? You simply start, if you have $5,000, I would put in $500 right now. If we drop lower, you just simply ladder in heavier. As your average is higher, you should lower your entry point here as an investor, if of course you are bullish on Aerodrome, and only of course if you're bullish on the entire crypto space, and of course if you believe that we're still in a bull market. Now, zooming out here on Aerodrome, this area should most probably hold here. Again, not financial advice. In my last video, I covered my worst case scenario. Worst case scenarios don't always have to play out, so I would have my eyes on this zone here. This zone here is a clear accumulation phase, and we have multiple support areas here. So having these A levels here around those levels is not a bad idea, especially if you have a long-term horizon. This is not a bad spot to start bidding Aerodrome. Again, and I have to say it again, not financial advice. Why am I saying that? Because of course, guys, worst case scenarios are a real thing, and even the scenario that the bull market is over can be reality. Do I personally believe that? No, 100% not. This is simply a correction in my personal point of view, but you always have to prepare for each scenario. But what's next for Aerodrome, and what is, in my personal opinion, the spot that we're currently in? Am I still bullish on it? Did I sell, etc.? Quick to the point here, guys. No, I did not sell my Aerodrome. I took profits here a couple months ago, so I have a cash position. I am in the lucky position to have a cash position in order to buy dips. I'm personally still waiting, as I'm greedy in that sense. I want to see lower prices in order to start laddering in. But personally, from personal experience, not financial advice, I think we're closer to the bottom than most people expect. Why am I saying that? Because sentiment currently, guys, is absolutely terrible here. Okay, most people are starting to be toxic here. I see only bear posts here around my timeline, and people are seeking every worst case scenario possible, which usually happens at bottoms here. So just like a couple months ago, most people were too optimistic, too bullish. People are too bearish right now. And I want to remind you here, guys, for investing, this is one super hard thing to do. You need to be greedy when others are fearful, and you need to be fearful actually when others are being extremely greedy. So one super hard thing to do, I know, because you always expect lower prices, but in order to beat that, this is just simple normal human psychology. It is normal that you feel that way. It is normal that you feel bad currently about your investment, and it is absolutely normal that you currently feel fear here at these levels because you expect those prices to go lower. But if you are bullish on the fundamentals here for Aerodrome, this is one great way to increase your position size. Of course, only if you have the funds, and of course, if your position size is risk accordingly. If your position size is already way too big, it is time to step back, guys. It is time to just simply hold, or it is time to start taking chips off the table. I personally don't know your position. If you have a crazy loan on your back, if you have multiple kids, if you have a payment you need to do next month, guys, this is not the spot to be in, unfortunately. If you're on a spot where you can take on that risk, I personally think here Aerodrome still has a lot of room to grow to the upside, and nothing has fundamentally changed here comparing it to a couple months ago. And I have been there, I have done it. I bought Solana at very low levels exactly when everybody was turning bearish. This was the best time to start dabbling into quality altcoins. And again, Aerodrome is, in my personal opinion, still the #1 representation of base. And this is one of the most powerful narratives still prevail here in the next couple months. And I will position myself accordingly. If you need any help, if you need someone to talk to, you have my email down below. At the end of the day, guys, do your own research. Super important. Everybody can be wrong. Don't get it twisted. Be bullish on yourself. That yields the most returns. And at the end of the day, guys, as always, don't get wrecked.
Like Mars Simpson, just hard discipline, pot simmering, cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plan form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams